Hi families, welcome to Back to School Night at Glasgow Middle School. If you need a translation, a YouTube translation, please pause this video, click the settings, click the subtitles, and select your language. So welcome to English 7. I am Shannon Manion. You might also, if you're in periods 1, 3, or 5, you might also see the name Johnson. And both Miss Johnson and I are full-time Glasgow Middle School employees. We're both certified teachers. I'm starting the year off in periods 1, 3, and 5, and she will join us second semester. But periods 2 and 6, you're stuck with me all year. So I'm happy to know you. I'm happy to be with your students. And this is a little bit about who I am. I have a lot of experience in the education world. I have taught for 11 years. I was a principal for 8 years, and I am happy to be back in the classroom. I have taught English before. I have taught middle school before, along with some other things. And I'm very proud of the fact that I've taught school in 3 countries, and I love to travel and learn about other cultures. I also like to hike, I like to read, and I have a fluffy little tiny dog named Winnie, and your students have probably already heard her in our class during this virtual environment. So basically, I believe that students learn best when they are challenged in an appropriate way, when they're engaged in their learning, trying to make that happen as much as possible in this virtual environment, where they're treated as individuals that have unique needs. And given a choice in their learning, I want them to be able to choose the books they read. I want them to be able to choose, when appropriate, the tasks that they're going to do to demonstrate the learning that we've done in class. I also want to support them as much as possible with both their academic and their emotional needs. And I think that that's a challenge during this virtual time. To be successful, I think students need to have a growth mindset. They need to have an I can attitude, and kind of struggle through things that are a little bit harder so that they can grow. Be willing to take a risk. Some of the students have already started to use their microphones and use their videos, and I think that shows wonderful risk taking, and I hope they're getting something out of it. I certainly am getting a lot of joy out of interacting with them. I hope that they try their best and they're kind to both themselves and others. During this virtual environment, we really need to make sure we're taking care of ourselves. We're taking a break when we need, and we're asking questions when we're not understanding. I think it's a little bit harder in this virtual environment, but I'm seeing them do this every day. So what will you students learn this year in English 7? We have 4 basic units. Unit 1 is what we're working on now. And so obviously in every unit we'll be reading and writing. It's just what our focus is each quarter will be different. And so our focus this quarter is identity and community. And so along with that central focus, we'll also focus on an essential question. And our question this quarter is, how do the choices we make shape our identity and who we are? And we'll be looking at that question from our own lens, or the student's lens, as well as from the lens of the choices that our characters and our stories make. The 3 main ways that we're grading is we have formative assessments, summative assessments, and then basically classwork. And so classwork's our daily work. It's worth 8 points. So it's really just did they do it? Did they put an effort in or not? It's not really did they get an A, B, or C? It's did they do the work? And the formative assessments are us just understanding where they are along that learning process. So it's really looking at that classwork and seeing, are they understanding the material that we're learning in class? And then the summative assessments, the end of the unit assessment, and that's really judging where's their skill at. Have they learned what we needed them to learn, and what do we need to do to ensure that they do learn it? Support. You can find me on Blackboard 24/7. My email is here on this slide. My office hours are on Blackboard, the syllabus, my contact information, which is here again, as well as every week I'll post a weekly lesson grid, which will let you know what the students are doing in our class for the week. Students' #1 resource is our Google Classroom. And this is where they find their assignments, communications from me, and resources for our classroom, stories to read, all sorts of things. Everything they need is in Google Classroom. And please know that every time I post into Google Classroom, they receive an email, but there is a way to turn that off. And I have given students those instructions for how to turn off notifications, so they're not seeing every time I post in there an email, because they might get a little overwhelmed with emails. And I think some of them already are. So how can you support your child? The main thing is just asking, what are you learning in class? Show me your work. Show me what you're doing. Show me your Google Classroom, because that's really where everything is. This says homework, but I really mean classwork, because I'm not assigning them additional homework. They may have work they need to finish from class, and I guess that would be homework, but really the work itself is classwork. So what assignments do you have to do still works well as a question, and what do you need to complete them? What questions do we need to ask? And again, just looking at that Google Classroom will be a great resource for both you and your student. Supplies. I think these are the same supplies that you need for every class. I would say additional supplies for English are an independent reading book. So students should be ready every class with a book that they're currently reading. This could be a physical book that you've gotten from the library or your own home, or it can be an ebook, a digital book. And if students aren't ready in class with one of these things, then I always have a backup. I always have short stories ready for them to read so that they can always participate in class. And so basically, I'm already enjoying your students so much. We've been together for, I think, three weeks now, and I find them lovely and enthusiastic. And I'm just looking forward to spending more time with them and getting to know both them and you. So I look forward to a great year. Thanks so much. Keep in touch.